pay attention to how he's situating himself in turtle, okay? The majority of the time, he's gonna have some, like 4 points of contact with the mat here, okay? Knees and elbows, knees and hands, or hands and feet, okay? Whenever that's the case, it shouldn't be too much of a struggle to start acquiring different types of grips, okay? And in this case for the crucifix, using our back knee, start to wedge him deep between his knee and his elbow here, okay? You guys see how much I'm sliding this in, okay? Over the course of the week, I've seen people get pretty shallow with this. When you do slide it in, okay, make sure like your hip is like driving into his rib cage. That'll tell you like, okay, I definitely can't put my leg back in, or put my leg in any deeper now, right? Okay, so let's talk about grips now when we're doing crucifix. It is okay to use a seatbelt grip, but I'm gonna tend to favor when his hands are unlocked here, okay? So just like last week, I wanna look for a knuckle grip on that far hand, okay? Sometimes you'll just put your hand through, you'll reach, you'll get the knuckles, okay? If Ulysses is keeping his hand away and I can't reach it, we're gonna go Kimura grip, okay? I'm gonna get his wrist here, and I'm gonna feed it to this hand, okay? And guys, I want you using the thumb here so he doesn't pummel out, okay? Stiff arming here. Now, if he does lock his hands, or just generally I can't get my leg over, we don't wanna try to pull his wrist out like this. He's too strong in this direction, okay? So you're gonna hook your hand and you're actually gonna bring it to the inside of his wrist here. So as the knuckle grip is pulling this way, this hooking grip is pulling this way, and it should be easier to make space. It's like Americana pressure on his arm, okay? Now, once we have that space open, I'm gonna take my back leg, I'm gonna bring my heel to my own knee here, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna use this to scoop deep on his bicep. As I scoop deep, I'm just gonna place that foot over my bottom foot, okay? And from right here, we can just go right to the first submission, all right? So same as last week, we're gonna do a one-arm choke, but it's gonna change slightly when we're in the top of turtle. So we're still gonna do the normal things like getting the thumb knuckle under and walking our fingers here, okay? The problem is if we just punch it through deep and we go to reach for his neck, he'll tell you this isn't that tight, okay? So one detail I want you guys to focus on while you're doing this is as you're getting that thumb knuckle under and you're walking your fingers through, take your elbow and put it to his chest like you're throwing an uppercut, okay? Now I'm gonna curl my hand behind the neck, and now you can see it's way tighter, okay? I'm gonna drive forward with my head, my shoulder, sorry, he's already tapping. Head, shoulder, and then the elbow pulls back, okay? Now, if you're putting more stock into details here, think about wedging this knee first, okay? Because later on, if she starts, red flags start going up and she starts defending, this is gonna be harder to do, okay? This is gonna help you guys keep everything open, so try to wedge this knee in right away. Okay, then from here, you can look to hand fight, get the knuckle grip on the far hand, and this hand we're curling inside so we can get that Americana pressure on the arm to open it up, okay? Step through, my heel goes to my own knee, and just like last week, again, we're trying to bite on the bicep here. As I scoop that through, I'm keeping my heel tight to my butt, and I'm crossing it over my free leg here, okay? For submission, one arm choke, again, thumb knuckle right where the jawline begins. I'm walking my fingers. Once my wrist gets through, I'll turn my elbow to the sternum, curl behind the head forward, shoulder forward, elbow back. Make sense? All right, let's go. So the first thing I've been seeing as I walk around here, when you guys scoop in here, be very direct about how you're scooping this arm in, okay? So try to do this. Scoop it, drive forwards, and then just cross it over your free leg. Don't do anything else, okay? Later on, especially when we start sparring with this grip, you'll see how dynamic this is. Like a lot of times, like as I'm sliding this knee through, okay, this is another tool I use to get this arm separated. If he drives me back, like yes, we can use this to drive back into last week, okay? And he starts to come up. Same thing, we can go over, okay? I get asked those questions about the entry a lot. And people are like, oh, do you prefer to take him back? Do you prefer to roll over? Do you prefer to stay on top? But really, for me personally, when I do this type of entry, I really base it on like, how is he gonna react to me doing this? And I'm gonna go with the flow, you know what I Here, pulling the arm out, get my scoop. Okay, all right. So we hit our first choke. At the same time, if I feel that he's giving me space with his arm, it's relaxed, and I have a good bite with my heels here, I can take my time to start opening my knees. I'm not gonna slide my hips, but rather I'm gonna start to walk my knees down. I'm looking to get two things in place, okay? The bony part of my pelvis, right above his elbow, at the bottom of the tricep, okay? That's the fulcrum for an armbar. It's basically gonna be a belly down armbar. The second thing is, as I walk here, my heels pulling up on the wrist, okay? That's like the hands pulling up on an armbar, right? And now from here, it should be a quick, easy finish, okay? Reasons actually, when you're here, you want to open the knees, just so you have mobility, but look at what happens to my hips as I open my knees. I have very strong pressure driving downwards, okay? So guys, when you're doing this, your knees shouldn't be too close together. You shouldn't be stretching your legs like a mermaid. Okay? Your knees should be wide and open like this, okay? So you shouldn't be coming in super wide like this. You shouldn't be doing this to begin with crucifix, okay? You guys notice when I enter, I say touch your heel to your own knee. Look, it's not touching here. This is what's gonna happen if I try to catch Ulysses here. His arm's gonna come out, okay? Now that is gonna feed to a technique later on when we catch with the second leg, but we don't wanna leave this up to chance here, okay? If you touch your heel to your own knee, you're essentially trapping his arm in this space already. I don't even have a crucifix yet, but his arm's already trapped, okay? Now this correlates directly to the arm bar. When I do it this way, and I come here, now I have tons of space to open my knees. And start to walk back and finish, sorry. Nice good wedge with the knee here. We find the knuckle line, okay? We're pulling this out. Remember what I just said too, if you're still having quite a bit of trouble here, or like generally you just don't feel safe bringing your foot in yet, remember you can use this knee here to open up his elbow as well, okay? Bring my foot in, I cross, now we're here, okay? Now I feel that his arm's loose. He's leaving it available to me. He's not trying to pull out or pummel out, okay? I'm gonna start walking my knees back, okay? I've been getting a lot of questions this week about this hand too. For this technique, you can just put this hand on the floor for base, okay? Now watch, I walk my knees. Don't slide your hips down. That's a good way to lose the elbow. Just do little walks with your knees. 1, 2, feel the inner part of your pelvis, okay? That bony part in the front, get right flush with this tricep here. It can be tight already, okay? But if you still feel a bend in his arm, walk your knees down so your heels get closer to his wrist. That'll straighten his arm out. And now from here, just a little push. That'll finish the submission. Sparing his elbows. Okay, yeah. Just being that chicken shit that doesn't want to lose in class. Right? Yeah. So this is annoying, okay? Often makes you scratch your head. It's like, all right, this guy's just balling up. I don't know what to do here, okay? What you should really focus on, whether your goal's crucifix, a back take, a collar choke, whatever, is the fact that since his arms are buried in here, there's no posts right here, okay? That's a fact. So this is an opportune time to try to turn him, okay? Two things are gonna happen when I try to turn him. He's either not gonna do anything, and I will turn him, I'll bring him to his side, or he's gonna post, okay? Think of like closed guard when you do a hip bump sweep. You're either gonna hip bump sweep them or they're gonna put their hand on the floor, right? It's very similar here. So when I go to start to turn him and he posts, I can look to catch his hands right here and slide my knee back in, okay? Now from here, we can go back to the same details and catch his arm again, okay? We're not gonna add a submission for this drill for now. Just feel free to review the first two. Get the elbow to the chest, finish the rear naked choke, or walk your legs back and finish the arm bar. If you can't manipulate or change the position, okay? Doesn't matter if you're great at crucifix, back takes, whatever the case is, you won't get past this too often, okay? So this is a very important skill to have here. So he's bearing, he's being defensive. Okay, I get my waist grip from here, I go to turn him. If he doesn't post, break him down to the mat, tell him to post on the next rep. But for now, he's gonna be a good partner and post his elbow or his hand. That's when I catch and slide my knee in, okay? Now from here, I'll switch to my outwards pull, get my heel to my knee, catch, and then you guys can go back to whatever submission you want here. Make sense? All right, let's go. On accident, okay? This is like, kind of became my favorite part of crucifix on accident, okay? And it's controlling his arm with the second leg, all right? This can happen when you lose submissions. This could happen because you want to pass the arm between your legs, okay? It's very common when we're attacking here. So I bring my leg over, I get the heel scooped in. As I scoop it in, I'm gonna pass his arm to my other leg. As I do that, I'm gonna use my knee to pull his wrist in and get tight leverage here, okay? Now, I'm not really using this hand right now, so I can do a lot of different things with it. Once it's tight, I can control the tricep. If I feel his wrist is getting loose, I can use my hand to pull the wrist back in. It's gonna be the same bite as last week, okay? Now, we can still choke an armbar here, but if we have a firm grip on the arm here, it's tucked here, we have a good shot at the reverse omoplata, just like last week. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna need to bring Ulysses to his back, all right? This is the dangerous part. I'm gonna give you guys a few spots here where you need to go very slow, both of you, okay? I'm gonna take this hand out, I'm gonna go over his head, and I'm gonna reach through and grab his leg here, okay? Guys, for now, try to avoid grabbing the pants. Even if it's like a loose grip here, just try to get a scoop grip on his hamstring. Okay, so here, that hand's on his hamstring right now, okay? Now, here's why this is dangerous. I'm doing a Granby roll while I basically have him in a Kimura, okay? So I'm gonna tuck my head, I'm gonna go to my shoulder. Ulysses is gonna stay here for right now. We're gonna see why this is dangerous. To keep his arm, I need to keep my heel curled. Don't straighten your leg when you do this. His arm's gonna come out. Keep your heel curled, okay? Now to move, I'm gonna use this leg as a pendulum. If Ulysses doesn't move, he gets Kimura right there, okay? So if I roll full speed and he doesn't go with me, you guys can imagine what can happen here. Not good, okay? So a lot of times what's gonna happen is either he's gonna roll or I'm gonna make him roll, okay? That pendulum motion I just did with my leg, if he stays here, which a lot of people will, usually because they're grabbing their own leg, you're going to use this leg to get the ball rolling, no pun intended. Okay? All right. The advantage of doing this versus last week is we just landed almost in the finishing position already. Last week we were all the way back here and we had to do a lot of work to get over him. Okay? Very important as this happens, you keep hold of this leg. This is a big insurance policy right here. So if he tries to get up and turn into me, I can just stay really tight to his leg. It's very difficult, okay? Now when I'm ready, I feel the wrist is tight. I have control of the leg. I'm gonna switch hands. Put my hand on the floor. Again, my feet are uncrossed, just like a regular omoplata. I'm starting to do a technical stand up and my head's going this way. Roll and he's not going to go with you and he's going to either scream or get his arm broken. Okay? He's going to defend his arm and not roll with you, which keeps his shoulder safe and you guys are at a stalemate. That's when you need to pendulum and make him roll. Some people, when you go to roll, they're going to roll with you to try to scramble out of this. Okay? The final thing would be just you losing the arm because you didn't close your heel. Okay? So we're here. Again, we're not controlling with this leg. This time we're passing it to the back leg and crunching his wrist in with the crook of our knee, okay? From here, we're gonna take this hand out, bring it around his head, and reach through and grab his leg here, okay? I'm gonna start to Granby over my inside shoulder, just like our turtle escapes. Now from here, I wiggle my leg, and you can go with it. You okay? Yep. Okay. Look, I hold on tight here. This is a big reason I don't want you guys to grab the gi here either. If I grab the gi here, extend your leg really hard. Okay? He's pulling me around. If you get here, go ahead. He can't really extend his leg too well. And if it gets really bad, let's say he's way bigger than me, I'll just hold with both hands for right now. Okay? Extend your leg. Not going anywhere. That should give you enough time to bring this hand here. Bring the legs back. And finish. sense? Will come out here. Let's say it doesn't. Like I have the very end of his arm and he rolls. You'll land here and that hand will just come right out, okay? Let's go back to last week. Okay. The more you get this to the crook of your knee, the more it's going to be like a Kimura. And just like a Kimura, the more this is folded, the better control you're going to have. That's the concept you need to get down for this technique. Okay? Make sense?